if you're not moving and you don't have expectation, there is no action. It does become just a vision on a vision board with no
Mhm.
action behind it. But when you can take tangible steps toward it and making sure that you're putting yourself in spaces and places that you're called to be in, I have this saying that if you're where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there, you'll get exactly what you're supposed to get. But you got
Mhm.
to know you're supposed to be there. You have to want to be there and have an
Yep.
expectation when you get there. This is what I'm going to get from this
Mhm.
experience.
Hey y'all, and welcome back to another episode of the Beauty and You podcast. I am super excited today because I love when we start talking about our rediscovery journeys, which lead us to where we are today. Our guest is phenomenal, and you just cannot wait to hear what she's going to drop today. She is dedicated to providing invaluable guidance to her clients on effective strategies, techniques, and behaviors to reduce debt, accumulate wealth, and foster constructive family communication. Through her insightful mentorship, clients learn to eliminate debt and build wealth by leveraging the concept of an infinite banking, a potential overlooked avenue for financial growth within communities. She is a true champion of community empowerment, educating individuals on the possibilities of wealth creation. Welcome to the Beauty and You podcast, Dr. Rhonda Boyd. How are you, Mama?
I am doing good. I am doing good. I am honored to get invited to your podcast. So I am excited about this conversation.
I am excited as well. And I can't not wait to learn about this generational wealth because, I need to know how to keep my family going. I think I got a plan, but I want to hear what you got to give. But
Okay.
before we get there, I got to take you back a little bit down memory lane. I want to talk about your rediscovery journey and what led you to here. So, can you start walking me through your rediscovery journey?
Oh, my rediscovery journey. Yes, it's been a journey. Um, and I love the your concept when it comes to the beauty in you and the journey and going back. Because I know when we first spoke, and even just thinking about it, because I think sometimes we end up places and
Mhm.
we really didn't even acknowledge where we came from. And so I love that part of me having to really sit down and think, okay, where did all of this start?
Mhm.
What happened? And I know when we talked before, part of the things that I am now discovering about myself, and even another discovery came up recently. And because when you focus and when people start asking you questions, you start to really think about, okay, what what is stopping me, or how did I get here, and things like that. So, taking it back, I'm originally from Charlotte, North Carolina. I grew up in a two-parent household. They didn't get divorced until after all the kids were gone, unfortunately. Um, but and I grew up with my siblings having sickle cell. So both my siblings had sickle cell. So they were sick. Not, and we never used the word sick.
Mhm.
They was having a crisis. My parents always encouraged all of us to do what we love, regardless of the circumstances. It didn't matter that the doctors, deemed that they had something. And then I look back at my role in that because I don't have a trait. I
Mhm.
don't have it. Both of them passed away early. They passed 7 months apart. And so that's part of my story that, you don't think about how it defines you and what you do in life. Part of my portion of them never hearing the word sick, them going through crisis, I was always, told mind over matter. Like I didn't get sick the 12 years I was in school.
Mhm.
And now I don't even think about, sickness is not part of my vocabulary. I move through. I might get put down. I got put down like maybe 1 day or 2 days for COVID, but my
Mhm.
goal was to not ever get it.
Right.
And so, but it kind of defines like that my thought processes around health, that we all can be healthy. We can all walk through life and losing them young, I was so grateful for my parents during that time. My parents raised us up in church. And so having being raised in church and having great loss 7 months apart, like, you know, people have death in their family. A lot of times they don't have multiple ones, which we never want that to ever happen. But to have siblings, to lose siblings and someone you grew up with. But having that foundation of being in church, and I look now of like my relationship with God, my relationship with church came from the foundations of my parents helping me through not before that happened. And so I'm really doing at church. My life is around children at the moment anyway. And so my nonprofit is around children, but I am over children's ministry at church. I'm a true believer that you take your children to church because that foundation is so vital because you don't know what's going to happen. My parents did not plan on losing two children back to back. I didn't plan on losing siblings, but because of that foundation, I'm now able to really talk to people. I can talk to people about grief. I can talk about their faith and them really believing that God wants the best for you, regardless of how circumstances look. I, I definitely, I wish they were here to see my daughter. My sister actually had a daughter that's now 23. She passed when she was 1.
Wow.
And but that foundation of church helped me go through different levels. But even though I struggled, I remember even being like one of the make sure that doesn't ring. One of we're in not Sunday school. We do morning women's ministry in the morning. And it was a question that was asked. It was like, what was one of those scriptures that you've had a hard time believing? And for me, which I didn't think about, and I told her, come back to me because I couldn't think of it. And it was, you are wonderfully and beautifully made. Mm-hmm. And I remember, and I had to go back, like, a lot of us in the class did have to go back a while, like, what was one of the things you struggle? Because when you've been in church for a long time, it's like, oh, I'm good.
I'm good. I don't need that.
I can do everything. Yeah. But then when you think about it, that body image, the way I look, and I'm cute. I know I'm cute.
You cute, boo.
Confident. But that scripture, I remember the noise that was in my ear because it's not even it's noise when people are criticizing you. Mm-hmm. That's all it is noise. And I remember being picked on in middle school. Like, and those are my people. Like, I love middle school students because they're in between that. I'm not a baby anymore, but I ain't grown. I'm trying to find myself in this space. And when you go through difficulties during middle school, it's like, those are the years I remember. Like, I don't too much remember, I remember some high school because I ran for president. I did some things. My grades were always good, things like that. But then when I look now on things that I struggle with, I had to go back to that time. And I am gradually, it's always a work. I feel like there's going to be a work and a journey when something has been you took something on that you weren't supposed to. Mm-hmm. And even though the word is telling you you're beautifully and wonderfully made, it's like, and then you look in the mirror and you still have to say that to yourself every day. And so my journey is saying that to myself every day and understanding that my confidence and everything is built within that. So that's a little bit about my story.
No, it's beautiful. It's beautiful because I talk a lot about healing, like the healing journey and the healing process. And whenever I talk to my clients, it always goes back to that foundation. Either they had it or they didn't. So the lack of foundation that I had, or, wow, my parents did instill some things in me that I do take from that, but it was still a hard time. So we always go back to those childhood moments, I would say. And when I do research, I'm like, y'all understand, like, yeah, we talk about middle school, but like that 0 to 3, 0 to 3 years old, that's it. That's your time. And whatever marks there, it stays with you. You don't think about it till you get older and start doing the work. But those moments are so impressionable. There's thoughts that memories I think I suppressed or tried to get rid of. That when I started doing the work, I'm like, oh my God, that happened when I was 3. That happened when I was, oh my goodness, this is why I'm the way I am. So I think it's good to go back and to look at, why am I the way I am? Faith is so important to me. And I have this gift. I can now talk to people about some things that they may not be able to talk to, but I have the foundation to do that because I have gone through my own experiences. And so I think that is beautiful. Um, I want to ask you about mindset real quick because we talked about positive affirmations, pretty much like you saying it to yourself each and every day. Um, Besides you being beautifully created, what are some other positive affirmations that you say to yourself every day? And if you don't, we're going to talk about why. But what are some other positive affirmations that you say to yourself each and every day? And I'm going to wrap it around to kind of what you do in a little bit.
Okay. So I actually have shower affirmations that I
Okay.
say in the shower. So I might not be able to repeat them for verbatim. I probably
No,
will
that's
do this when somebody starts them, but
Mhm.
I talk around my business
Okay.
that I am created to bring wealth,
Mhm.
um, that God loves me. Oh my gosh. You made me, I want to pick this, I want to pick it up and take it into my shower so I can just keep it to you. Um, uh, I am blessed to be blessed, a
Mhm.
blessing. I'm saying, I don't like that. Uh, okay, and those are some of them. I do them in the shower, and
Good.
one of the things that we even talked about one Wednesday night was sometimes we get into the habit of doing things
Mhm.
versus doing things
Mhm.
and actually internalizing them. And so I don't take short showers, so I do have time to internalize them. But I think over the last probably couple of months, I've just been doing them
Mhm.
versus actually getting back to internalizing them. There might be a reason why, like, because I take a shower every day. For anybody that's listening, why she
Shower.
stay in her shower?
Showers.
Why she can't remember?
No,
But it
you're
is
fine.
is that and I know the Holy Spirit brings it back up when I need them and everything, but they are. I do affirmations in my shower and I do them around my marriage, around my business,
Yes.
and then some around just life in general.
Yes. I love it. I
So
love it. And I'm happy that you do them. I do them too. I struggle with them. At first, I thought it was weird. I'm like, saying this stuff to myself. I don't understand. But there's power in what we speak to ourselves. There's so much power in what we say, in even talking about wealth. And that's why I wanted to ask you, like, what do you say? Because you talk about generational wealth, but you have to speak it, you have to believe it, and you have to be intentional about your actions. So all of those things go together when you start talking about the power of the mind, even going back to your foundation of faith and some of the losses that you've had this, even if you didn't know you were doing it, you were saying some type of
correct,
affirmation to help
correct.
you get through those
Yep.
times. And so the power of the mind is so important. And then the power of just being intentional about your actions. Like, I'm going to be successful. Okay, that's cute. But what you doing to be successful? Like, you're right. You can say it each and every day, but you have got to put that foundation, or if you don't have the foundation, build that foundation and set that example. So I
Yeah.
I love that you're doing, and I wanted to hear you see you connected it back to wealth and which you did. So I'm loving
And
it.
I'm actually doing a challenge this month. It's a 30-day challenge about embracing your abundance. So we are doing affirmations every day is
Mhm.
part of it, but it's being in expectation and then recognizing your wins. Because again, we go through, and when you're expecting something, you move toward that expectation. But if all you're doing is going through the day and just allowing the day to happen,
Mhm.
then the day happens. Like, yeah, it's going to happen. 24 hours in a day is going to keep going back unless the Lord calls you home. but it's going to happen, and being in expectation of that. And that's part of the challenge this month, is to get women together to, let's do this together. Let's celebrate our wins from the day before, because so easily a whole week could go by and you're like, what happened last week? Like, did I get some things completed? Did I get some winning moments? Because we forget to celebrate ourselves. And that's a mind thing too. Where you focus, and it goes back to what you said as far as putting the action behind it. Because when you're not if you're not moving and you don't have expectation, there is no action. It does become just a vision on a vision board with no action behind it. But when you can take tangible steps toward it, and making sure that you're putting yourself in spaces and places that you're called to be in. I have this saying that if you're where you're supposed to be, when you're supposed to be there, you'll get exactly what you're supposed to get. But you got to know you're supposed to be there. You have to want to be there and have an expectation when you get there. This is what I'm going to get from this experience.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. So what about fear? Right? So what about those that know where they're supposed to be and they feel the passion and they feel the calling and they scared?
I'm one of them.
All right, let's talk about it.
I can confess. I am moving into so I do real estate. I'm a real estate investor. I don't sell real estate homes or anything. So I'm a real estate investor. So I am literally moving from, and should have been doing this even with my nonprofit. It's not that I have a problem with talking, like I can talk to you one-on-one. You give me a mic and I can get on stage, but put me in a room and I have to network. That's the fear that I'm having to overcome, because I'm transitioning from residential homes to multifamily homes. And I'm needing to build a team around that. That structure looks completely different. You can do single homes by yourself with a real estate agent, and that's it. But when it comes to multifamily homes, it looks different. You have to have different players in place. And I know some of them players, but some of them players, I got to be in their space in order for them to know who I am. And so, and that's part of that, with the generational wealth, but it's like, it drains me, to be honest. It is really draining to me to network. And the great thing about it, the organization that I'm a part of, it does teach you, it's me just changing that mindset of it being difficult to it's me helping other people. Because I will help. Like, I'm that person that I love. I can be behind the scenes. I can help you do stuff. I can put things together. I love organizing and planning and all of that. But I could be doing that for other people. Like, it's me using the skills and talents and the things that I've gained over the years to really just go into a space and just be in the mindset that you're here to help somebody. Who are you planning on helping that day? So anybody else says, that is my goal. Hopefully we'll get a follow-up on this podcast. So I can give y'all some
I got you.
how it's work. I hadn't started it yet. The last couple of networking things, I went to the class and then we had to network around the room. And I'm like, I'm ready to go. I'm tired. I'm ready to go. I don't want to talk to nobody. Nobody. But I wasn't in the mindset. So it's really me changing. Like you said, everything goes around mindset. When there's a fear, it is really something that you're just, your mind is that subconsciously, you have these preconceived notions of how it's going to go.
Yep.
And a lot of it is you might get a no. But if you're there to help, my thing is like, oh, I'm here to help. Like, either I can help you or I can't help you. So it's not really, I can take the no off the table. And it's really, am I the person that's supposed to help you? I'm not supposed to help everybody.
Yep.
I am called to a certain person, certain people that really probably truly believes in the exact same thing that I believe, which is generational wealth and helping kids and helping families do it together as a family and having the right mindset to do it. So I took the no off the table. I'm going in to help. Who can I help?
There you go.
So,
There you go. I
so
think
that's
that's
that fear.
important. Yeah, it's important. So, I always say just do it scared. Just do it scared. I'm scared every day. I have
Yeah.
all these big goals. I write them down. Then I start actioning. And then stuff comes back and I'm like, dang, I did write that down, didn't I?
Uh-huh. Yep.
Okay, well, here it is. We got to get it done.
Done.
But I do it anyway
Yeah.
because ultimately, my big goal, yes, is to help someone else. If I can encourage someone and motivate them and show them the light and show them that, that they were once in my shoes before and they can be here now. Okay, then I got to change that, right? I'm here to help them. And so, y'all just listening, do it scared. I don't care. Do it scared. Do it
Yeah.
scared. We're
Just
all scared in some
correct.
way, shape, or form. Like we're all scared. And growth comes with being uncomfortable and it sucks.
Yeah.
But
And in that doing it scared, don't think that you do it scared and all of a sudden you just get over it. Because
yeah,
one of the other things that recently came up was I started moving in the direction scared. But then all of a sudden I got this realization like, am I afraid of success? It was
mm,
something that just popped up like, I know what I want. I got the means to get there, but what's really holding me back?
yeah.
Is it the fear of success? And people don't really think about that. They're like, no, I want to be successful. I want to be successful. But when the rubber meets the road and
Mhm.
you have to walk it out and you're walking with other people, and then you start thinking about, okay, other people now are depending on me too. And it's like, okay, so I do want this, but I'm still holding back.
Yeah.
And for me, it was like I just had to come. And once I said it out loud, because I started having, I don't know if we talked about this before, but I a couple years ago, I started having this pain in my back. And I was trying to figure out what it was. I was getting MRIs. I mean, it was pain to the point, and I have a high tolerance to pain. So
Mhm.
when I feel pain, it's pain.
Yeah.
And it was putting me on the ground. Like I was like, it was putting me down pain, like sharp pain.
Mhm.
And finally it happened, it went away, came back maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And I was like, oh, wait a minute, this feels familiar.
Mhm.
But I tried to start remembering, okay, what was I thinking about? I hadn't lifted anything, hadn't done anything. I was like, okay, what have I been thinking about? Because this literally could be a mind thing. Because
Mhm.
our bodies hold in pain and hold in tension by what's going on in our head. And I started thinking, I'm like, okay, this is a head thing. For the last 3 days, I've been worried or trying to figure something out. And that's what's going on. So I don't know if you've heard of Reiki. I started doing Reiki around that time. I had just saw something, it was on Netflix, that talked about energy healing. It's basically dealing with your mind, but it's
Mhm.
your subconscious mind, part of it. And went and had that done and it went away. And I was like, but then all of a sudden it came back this year and it came back when I started moving forward. This
Mhm.
time I didn't go and get Reiki. I started thinking about, what am I scared of success? I had to start having that conversation with myself because sometimes we need to have the conversation is beyond the I ams to this is who I am.
Mhm.
Actually getting in the front of the mirror, having this conversation. And once I said it 2 or 3 times, the pain went away. It was like, okay,
Oh.
well, now let's deal with it. Let's figure it out. Like, are you going to continue to move forward?
Mhm.
Because basically, it was just that thought was trying to stop me from moving forward.
Yeah.
And so there's so much. Our mind is this awesome, great thing, and it's so powerful
Yes.
that we got to recognize the power that it has. And then more importantly, the power that our words have from it
Mhm.
when it comes from your mind and your heart, that when you speak, what is happening and being aware of that. And I think a lot of times, people live their lives by either design or default. And either way, you're designing your life.
Yeah.
It's by default because you just don't have any intention behind it. But it's time for us to start designing our lives by the words we speak and actually recognizing and paying attention to the things that go on in our head and then
Mhm.
taking action on the things that go in our head, actually addressing it,
Yes.
being real to ourselves, actually owning up to our thoughts. Because sometimes I think we try to, you have some people that will say, "Oh, I'm okay. Things are
Mhm.
okay." And but you're not okay.
Yeah.
You're not. You're not. So stop saying it. Let's deal with it. We can deal with it and be okay.
I laugh because that used to be my that was my go-to right there. Like, Quita, you good? I'm okay. But my okay had different tones. So like I'm okay and I'm okay and I'm okay. I'm okay. Like, and then if you didn't react the way I wanted you to react, I'm like, you should have known. I said I was okay. But my tone told you something was wrong. You should have asked me, right?
Oh,
Girl.
we want people to be mind readers.
I want them to everybody, you should be a mind reader. You know me for how long, right?
Right.
So we assume that our circles know, and they don't always know, especially
You don't.
in my circle. I'm always the strong one. I'm the strong one. So if I'm saying I'm good, I'm like, girl, you said you was good. I don't know what you be holding me down. I don't know what you said.
Correct. And that's the oh my gosh. It brought up something else in my head. Like we have to be until we're honest with ourselves, we got to be able to tell people exactly what's going on with us.
Mm,
Because sometimes
mm,
we sit in our rooms, in our houses, like, oh my gosh, I just wish someone would give me what I've been giving out versus going to people like, I need help. And
yes.
just being, I need help. I'm struggling mentally. And, because I think sometimes people avoid maybe people like me and you that says we're okay all the time and our mindset is different. And we know the words that we speak is going to bring power. So the people who are struggling is like, well, I don't want to bring that to her because, I don't want to bring her down just
Mm,
because I'm down. And
I'm down.
no, but how about we talk about it?
Yeah.
How about you get out of your head because you're in your head?
A
Because
lot of times they live.
yeah,
Mhm,
yeah, and that's where I mean, in your house alone, and I think that this is just that loneliness
mhm.
probably got more people during COVID than actually COVID did.
Yeah,
That
I
the
agree.
depression set it because we were cut off from we were never meant to be alone. And so
Mhm.
no matter what adventure, what purpose you have, your purpose was made for somebody else. But even getting you to your purpose to help people, there's people that's waiting on you to
Mhm.
start so they can jump in. But then somebody's waiting on you because they have started and you won't jump in with them.
Yeah.
And so we're here to help each other. We were created not to be in a vacuum. We were created to live among each other and to help each other and to love each other. And we got to
Absolutely.
remember that.
Absolutely. And we're just so powerful, period. I think it's important to just know how much power we have, like for ourselves. Like, we are the authors. I talk about a lot. Like, I'm the author of my story. Like, I'm
Yep,
writing my chapters right now. I ain't done writing. I'm still writing. I don't even like that in them. I'm about to change it. I have the power to do that. I
correct.
have the power to change it if I don't like it. Now, some things might throw me left, and I might have to learn the lesson real quick and get back to writing, but I still have that power. And that lesson, let me tell you, I for a while I was going through, and every day I talk about rediscovery journey. Every day is a rediscovery. Like every day we're learning, it's a
Yeah,
circle. It's like it never ends. But then I was literally counting on other people to bring me happiness and to bring me peace. Seriously, those do you know how valuable that is? Girl, I was tripping. But my mind, I would talk to people like, yeah, I have, the situation is so bad right now. But once we do this, then I'll be happy. And once they do that, then I'll be happy. And I remember my boss, he's retired now, but I was talking to him, and he said, every time you come in here, you say that. When this happens, then I will be happy. When this happens, then I will have peace. And he's like, you're giving them too much power over
right.
your
Peace and
mind.
happiness. Yes.
He said, what are you doing? And I was like, whoa. First of all, that hurt my feelings. I was like, what? But I had to really sit down and be like, oh, he's speaking some real stuff here. I just gave the most valuable things, my peace and happiness, to other people. And I'm waiting for them to break. No, this is mine. So
No,
now I got to learn to set those boundaries because my peace is important. Now I have to get back to what Chiquita likes because my happiness is important. And y'all can't bring that to me. So
correct.
we have so much power. Our minds, yes, this conversation, the mind is so powerful. If y'all don't take anything else from this episode, I need y'all to take that away. Like your
No,
mind is so powerful.
right. Yeah. And I remember them days of letting circumstances dictate whether I'll be happy or not happy. And
Mhm.
it really shows up in relationships and especially marriage relationships.
Mhm.
I've been married, it'll be 30 years in January.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And it has been some up and but when I finally figured out, oh, I need to make myself happy.
Mhm.
I need to have my peace. Then things it's amazing how relationships change for the better when you recognize that on your own. When
Yeah.
you recognize that you're responsible for that because you put no expectations on the other person. And so now the other person, they really can't disappoint you.
Mhm.
They you now know that they can't make you unhappy. You get to choose to be happy or unhappy
Yeah.
with it. But yeah, I learned that it is your choice. You can't give anybody that power. And the other big lesson I learned was like that the word no is a complete sentence.
Oh, yes.
It is with no explanation. We are all adults. And as adults, we can change our mind also
Mhm.
and be okay. And don't make commitments that you really don't want to make.
There you go.
I know it's hard for, some people might be out there that's people pleasers. Um, no, you be your people and please you. If you're gonna please somebody, please
Please
yourself.
yourself.
You please yourself because you get into that thing of, okay, I want to do this for this person, but you really didn't want to do none of it at
Yeah.
all. You didn't want to do none of it. And guess what? When you show up, people know you didn't want to do it. I
Mhm.
mean, you can put on, I don't care what anybody says. When you don't want to do anything, I don't care how much of a smile you put on.
People know.
People know. They know. They know. So do yourself a favor. Just say no. It's easy. It is
Yeah.
easy. It takes work.
Yeah.
It takes work. And I had to, we moved after my brother's passing. My sister passed first and then my brother passed. After his passing, maybe maybe 3 to 4 months later, my husband applied for another job and it was in a different city. And it might have been a year later. But and I had just found a church that I was active in. I was just hoping he wasn't gonna get a job, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And I remember he ended up getting it. We ended up moving to Columbia. And I remember going back and forth to because now I'm an only child. It was only three of us. So now I'm an only child. So I was going back and forth to Charlotte. And I didn't realize how much of a cool, but it wasn't that my parents was calling on me. I felt like I needed to be there
Mm.
to fill in that gap, with the loss. So I was driving back and forth from Columbia to Charlotte probably every weekend until I finally was to a point where I can't do this. Like, I'm like, I felt I was now feeling the pressure of me saying, yes, I'm coming all the time to a point where when I finally said no, it was like this burden, just the weight lifted off of me with just me saying, I'm not coming. I'm not coming this weekend. I'll see y'all in 4 weekends.
There you go.
Y'all can come here, but I took on that role of trying to fill in that gap for three kids, and it wasn't my role to fill. Um, and my parents, we made it through. My mama needs to write a whole book about grief, because she did it with grace. And I
Yeah.
think all of us, because of Foundation, we made it through without a whole lot of stuff
Mhm.
happening. But I had to get to it was that weight. And so I encourage anybody that's listening that don't allow the weight of everybody else to finally get you to say no.
Mhm.
Go ahead and find out the things that you like, because if your identity has completely been sucked up as being a mother, because we do that,
Yes, we
or
do.
being a wife, and them kids gonna grow up and go. But anybody got little kids, I just want to let you know they got their whole life that you don't even know about. They
Yeah.
got friends you don't even know about. They got
Mhm.
stuff they like to do, and they gonna leave you.
I know.
They gonna leave you. I'm sorry.
Lord.
When they gonna leave you. So you need to know who you are before they leave. And you
Mhm.
need to make sure that your relationship with your the relationship that you even have with your mate and your husband is solid
Yes.
also, because yeah, don't I love them, but they grew up and they left. I got a 33-year-old, and we left. If we look back and look, we left
Yes,
too.
I did. I was like,
Yeah, like I was look, I'm
bye, mama.
17. I was ready to go. I'm gone. And so I got one in Houston and one in Charlotte. And it's
Wow.
like, but they're good. But
Mhm.
find out who you are, because if that happens and you don't know, then you feel like I'm trying to pick up pieces. You don't know which direction you want to go in. So learn to love yourself. Take yourself
Yes.
out to dinner and take yourself to the movies, whether you're married or not. I mean, my husband loved, like, yeah, you can go. Sometimes they need a break. I'm like, bye. Yeah, sometimes they need a break. So, yeah, so be cautious of that
Yes.
and everything. So, but yeah.
That word no, it's like so many things that come with that because I was thinking of like all of my stories with like when I learned how to say no. Oh God, I'm so happy now. But I would always I feel like I put myself in uncomfortable situations by not saying that word no and by not using my voice, and both having to do with relationships and even marriage. And
Right.
so all of that you said is connected. Once I learned the power of saying no, which
Mhm.
means I'm no longer going to put myself in uncomfortable situations where I don't feel welcomed or feel like I'm doing everything for everyone else and not getting it in return. And then from using my voice, even within my marriage, the power of, babe, I don't really want to do that. And before it's like, I don't really want to argue. So it's okay. I'll just let it go. I'll just let it go. I'll just let it go. I can't let it go because now I done built it up all the way up to here and I'm popping off. And he looking at me like, why are you so mad?
Right. Like all I did was not put
What?
the dishes in the sink or something. Like, yeah, but
What's
it was all the other stuff you did.
right? It's everything else. It's all built up. So no, 2 letters, whole sentence, very powerful. Communication, finding your voice. I can't stop talking. I say it every time. I hadn't found a voice, y'all. I can't stop talking. Y'all gonna listen to me. Somebody gonna listen to me because it's here now. And I've always had so much to say. And I feel like I was pushing it down. So it's like it's here. I'm speaking about it. So yeah, two powerful things. I want to shift the conversation and I want to talk about this generational wealth
Okay.
and what you do and what you create for others. So walk me through your superpower.
Well, thank you. Thank you. So I actually help, first of all, um uh, we've been told this story that, go get a good job, go to college, um well, no, go get good grades, go to college, get a good job, and then make sure you get a 401k.
Mhm.
From my personal experience, a 401k is not going to get you to retirement. And for a lot of us nowadays, I just looked at an article that was published in April. It'll take right now in the US, it takes about $1 million to be able to retire.
I believe it.
And this goes back to focus. Like, a lot of us not even thinking about it. Like, we're doing what they told us to do, or we've given our information over to a financial advisor. We're allowing him to do what he does with the hope and prayer of it coming out the way I want it to come out when it's time for me to walk away.
Yeah.
So it comes back to paying attention. And I start with mindset, because I don't think a lot of us think about being wealthy. A lot of us don't even have the thought of, I I literally could be a millionaire. A
Mhm.
lot of us is thinking like, oh, I got a good job with good pay. I'm doing good. But
Right.
when you don't want to do that good job or that good job lays you off or closes, then what
Yeah.
happens? Are you starting all over again? So for me, I worked for AT&T. For any of my people on here that's cubicle people, worked for
Yeah,
AT&T.
cubes.
Yeah. Worked for AT&T, was there for 19 years, faithfully put into my 401k, and they decided to close their doors at my 19th year. Now, about 20 years, that's military retirement.
Mhm.
20 years, most people are thinking about retirement.
Yeah.
My 401k had $160,000 in there. And I was young. I mean, this was 2017. So I'm in my
Mhm.
40s, late 30s, 40,
Yeah.
like, what am I going to do with $160,000? Well,
Right.
before you know, I told y'all I did it, investing in real estate, and I had already had some properties by then. I bought a house. That's what I did with it,
Yeah.
because people say real estate is the way to go to build wealth, and it is. And I truly believe in diversification when it comes to building generational wealth. That it does need to be diversified because
Mhm.
things can happen in any market. And if I had known what I know now, those 19 years, I would have did my own infinite banking. And so it's through an insurance product. And that's how you're getting a 2 for. It's really a 3 for 1
Okay.
platform to be able to do generational wealth. And the end of it is it has a death benefit along with it. And so you can have millions of dollars that you can leave to the next generation. But
Mhm.
it starts with educating the next generation also in yourself. So that's how the mindset part of my business goes, is really understanding that you can leave your kids and your family all of this money, but if they don't know what to do with it, they're going to lose it within 2 to 3 generations.
Yeah.
It won't stay within the family. So I do it with the kids. I'll show you. I actually got a book for parents that can actually start that conversation. Um, also looked up some statistics. 1 out of 5 women actually talk to their friends and family about money,
Mm.
about investing, saving, any of that. We're not having the discussions in
Right.
most situations, or even inside the household. So how do we keep this going? And
Mhm.
so with the insurance, basically, um, you're saving with inside the insurance policy. What insurance companies do is they actually invest that money into the stock market for you. But with this policy, it doesn't go down.
Oh,
So when the stock market goes up, your dividends go up. But when the stock market goes down, it levels out.
okay.
So it's a safe proof strategy for retirement, or
Yeah.
to get you where you want to go. So then people say, well, but it's a life insurance policy. So this is only going to help after I die. Well, it doesn't, because what you do is you're building it up with compound interest to a point where at some point in 20 years, if you start wanting income to come out of that, you actually can have income being given to you. If you
And that
want.
was my question. I was gonna say, can you pull from it?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you can actually borrow against it. You're basically borrowing against it,
Mhm.
and you still have your death benefit along with it.
Oh,
So it's this, and we're not talking about it. Like,
no.
if you talk to, and guarantee you, you can talk to 5 insurance agents, they'll give you different um different stories around this of why not to do it. And you'll get some where they'll say, yes, this is a great idea. It is a safe proof. It is a way to build generational wealth, and people have been doing it for years. The thing is we have not been doing it.
Mm,
Our
that
people
part.
have been doing it.
Mhm.
Um, to give you some history on it, Walt Disney did it. To start his parks, no one would loan him money to actually start his parks, Walt Disneyland
Mhm.
and Walt Disney Place. He had to go into his insurance policy, pull the money out, not borrow against it to
Right.
start it. And now look at what that investment has
Mm.
afforded his family. JCPenney did it. They were going through a time where their stores were not doing well. but he still needed to pay employees. He pulled out to be able to pay employees. So
Mm.
people are doing it, and we're looking for ways to save money. And the bank is literally you doing the exact same thing that I'm telling you about. So we keep sticking our money in the bank. They're actually investing it into insurance policies and
Wow.
getting compound interest. And so we have to, like, why wouldn't we be our own bank then? Why wouldn't we do that for ourselves? And then we save with the bank. We put money in the bank for them to come back and
Yeah.
charge us to get a loan. So they understand the power of compound interest because they do it to us
Every day. Yeah.
every day. And so now it's our time. And when people come to me and I think part of the hesitation with this is they're thinking, oh, I need a lot of money to get started.
Hmm.
No, just need to get started
Okay.
regardless. So what I do with my clients is my questions I ask them is like, how much money do you want? When do you want to retire? When do you want to like kind of stop what you're doing? For
Hmm.
some of us, as we're doing things that we love, we might not want to completely stop it, but we do want a guaranteed income coming in.
Yeah.
Right. So you say 20 years, 15 to 20 years. Okay, well, I got 15 to 20 years to work with. How much money do you want coming in monthly or yearly? Now, this money that you're getting is also tax free. So when you're looking at $50,000 a year, that's really $80,000 because there's no taxes taken out on it.
Okay.
So you have that to go with. So, and I'm gonna use $5,000. So you want $5,000 a month. So what I do is actually, and then they tell me most people will start off because this is the way we think of insurance.
Hmm.
I only have this amount to save right now.
Okay.
So most people come with me with an amount already in their head, but then they come to me and saying that they want $100,000 a year each year in
And
the
you're
next
like, wait.
10 years. And a lot of times the numbers don't add up. So what I do is I tell them exactly this is what you need to be saving in order to get to your goal. And
Mhm.
this is what will happen if you only save this amount.
Okay.
Let's start here because the great thing about these policies also is that you can increase it.
Okay.
You can increase it. You can go up. You can get, but if you never know where you're supposed to start, I love about GPSs. See, when we use GPSs on our phone, we don't think about that beginning part. It actually knows where you're starting from to get you
Mm.
where you're going.
Yep.
A lot of times we try to jump to, I want to get here, but then we don't own up to where we're starting at. Or
Mm.
even to get started. To get there, you have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
So if all you have is $200, let's start there. Let's start there and let's get going. And then as money comes, once you start seeing that it's growing,
Mhm.
you'll start redirecting. Your mindset is different where it's like,
Yeah.
I am paying a little bit of extra money over here, a little extra money over there. And a lot of times we have what we need. It's almost like the woman with the crude of oil. And she told, I think it's Elijah, oh, all I have is this crude of oil. No, that's all she needed. But she had
Yeah.
pots and pots and pots until the only reason why she ran out was because she had no more pots.
Yeah.
So we do have everything that we need. It's just a choice of deciding to start. And so I start that way because the other thing is we don't think of when we're saving, we don't think of that as a bill. We don't think of that. We don't put that as a priority when other stuff comes up.
Yeah.
We gotta have the mindset that this is what I'm not going to touch. I will figure out a way to get done what needs to get done, but I refuse to
Can't touch that.
it because I have bigger plans for this. I got somewhere I want to go because this
Mhm.
little insignificant thing over here that's bothering me right now that I do need money for, it I can get rid of this, but in 20 years I still need to know where I'm gonna be at.
Yeah.
So that is the journey that I take my clients on. And then when it comes to their kids, like with my nonprofit, I teach financial literacy, but I actually printed a workbook. It's a workbook, it's a book in itself, but it's Investing Made Easy, a family affair. It starts the conversations of how do I talk to my kids about certain stuff, things,
Mhm.
money, even the emotional side of money. Because see, one thing about this generation, they really don't have any attachment to physical money
Yeah.
because we're used to swiping.
Right.
Yep.
Mhm.
Has no emotion to it at all. You didn't see anything disappear. You didn't feel anything. But when you have to take money out your pocket to give to somebody, you felt something leave.
Yeah.
Because this is a generation that now doesn't have that. Really have to talk about the value of money and what's important to you and teaching them how to sit down and do a budget. All of that at an early age so they'll understand that I can only spend this once.
Yep.
Is this what I really, really want?
Oh my God. First of all, you're schooling me. Because I found like we're gonna have to talk offline about this too. Cause I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I need to do some of this because
Mm,
I'm interested. I want to create generational wealth. I am working towards creating generational wealth, and there's so many aspects of it. But it's hard when you're the first one.
correct.
I'm the first one. I'm the first one doing this, and even my kids, like the stuff that they're doing, I'm like, okay, this is your goal, and we're going to set this up for you and ensure that and it's having a conversation about money that I never had. Ain't nobody talk to me about money. I'm
Mm-mm.
the first one in my family to buy a house.
Mm.
And that was so stressful. My goal, me and my husband were like, okay, we're gonna buy a house before we're 30. We did at 27, and we were stressed. We were stressed because we didn't know what we were doing. And there was no one to help us because we were the first ones. And so I think the nonprofit's important, the education, our youth, it's important to talk to them about money so that way they understand and that it can disappear. I laughed because I had to do that with my son. So I got him his card. He's
Uh-huh.
16, by the way. Right. Got him his debit card. But you know how they do, they link it. They link it to the phone, right? Link it to the phone.
Mm-hmm.
But I did not think, let me download the app so he can see his balance, right?
Right.
So he's like, hey, Mark, I'm at the mall. Can you see me? So I'm like, I just got money. Oh, no, I spent it on this. How much do you have left? Oh, I don't know.
See?
All right, dude. So I'm like, where you at? Okay, I'm going to put money on. I put more money in this account. Here you go, a little bit. Oh, more. I said, I'm not giving you no more money because I just gave it to you twice. Like, you need to figure it out. But it was when I put the app on the phone and he could, oh no, I only got $5 left. So
Okay.
now he can see when I tap the phone, it comes out of the account, right? It's not just mom putting it back in there, but you're right. He had to see that because there was no attachment. It was like, Mom, you got the card, right? You just,
Right. Correct. They just think it's there.
it's just there. No,
It's
mom
just
is
there.
working hard. We're working hard for this to keep it
Right.
there.
Correct.
Stop
Yep.
spending. Okay. So I think this conversation is so important to have. And I love what you're doing.
Thank you.
I love what you're doing. You're impacting so many people. And I want to learn, like, so I want to learn more. There's so much I want to have set for my family. But it's hard, like I said, because I am the first one. So you don't know what you don't know.
Correct. You don't. You do not. So yeah, because I mean, my education when it came to around really investing and saving was my father told me get a 401k
Yeah.
and max out what they match.
Yep.
And that's what I did. And, I didn't pay attention to it. It was just my money went there. I didn't miss it. And it went, and I would never tell free money is always good. You got a company that's matching money.
Mhm.
That's that part of the first diversification that I talk about is yes, if you work for somewhere and you got a 401k, yes, utilize your 401k. But also go ahead and do something else because the other part of that AT&T story was when I took that money, oh, the IRS wanted theirs too at the
That's
tune
right.
at the tune of $95,000, more than
God.
half of it. So
Oh,
yeah, we had to pay them. So, but if I had known what I know now, I would have never touched that money. It could have stayed there and
mhm.
I could have just utilized my infinite bank if I had been investing in that for the last 19 years. And it would have been way more than $160,000 at
Yeah.
that time. So my goal is to get, especially younger people, when you have time on your side and you got time, you can really build some good wealth, but you gotta want to do it. And you
Mhm.
gotta take the steps necessary to do it. Because a lot of people young people don't think about insurance. Young people don't think about building wealth, especially if they don't have any kids. It's like, I'm just living my best life out here,
Swipe.
thinking about that. But if we had more kids that was thinking, oh, I want to be a millionaire before I'm 30, they actually could be.
Yeah.
You start at 20 because you got time to become a millionaire, especially if you got a good job,
Mhm.
and you working and you understand the value of savings and putting yourself first when it comes to savings before you do any of your bills. It,
Mhm.
it works. So, but yeah, it is. It's just having that conversation and getting them to think beyond today.
Mhm. Utilizing the mind
Yes,
sets again. See, we talking about mindset today, y'all. This is so good.
yes.
Can you tell everyone where they can find your books?
Yes, I can. You can actually go to www.bankonyourselfebook.com. And so this is not an ebook. You can find that book there and a masterclass that talks about infinite banking and all of the benefits around infinite, because it's more than just the compound interest and leaving generational wealth. There are so many living benefits that are valuable that I talk about in the masterclass. So they can go to www.bankonyourselfebook.com.
Yeah. Dr. Boyd, I want to thank you so much for being a part of the Beauty in You podcast. You've taught us so much today, and you have been an amazing guest.
Oh, you are welcome. Thank you for having me on.
Of course, you're always welcome back because I do want to follow up. So we're going to talk about that too. So,
Okay, I can do that. I can do that.
all right, guys, everything will be linked to the show notes so you can continue to get educated on how to build that generational wealth. And we talked a lot about mindset. So go ahead and write them jewels down. I enjoyed today, and until next time.